Engines roar, tires shriek. Then, collision. Metal bends, glass explodes, the world blurs into chaos. Every heartbeat, every second, real. No edits, no filters. This is Impact. Buckle up. The plane descends unevenly, struggling to regain balance. Then, in a devastating moment, it crashes straight into the ground with overwhelming force. A trolley bus moves forward as two cars hesitate to clear the road. With no time to stop, it crashes into both, pushing them aside with its massive weight. While trying to park, the driver clips the car behind, then bumps the one in front. After a few tense seconds, the vehicle finally settles awkwardly into the spot. At a snowy intersection, a car turns slowly across the lane. Suddenly, another vehicle rushes in and hits it hard, the crash breaking the stillness of the scene.
Meu Deus!
On a rural road, a buffalo charges after a fleeing man. Cornered, it rears up on two legs and slams against a nearby car in a burst of raw force. A heavy truck approaches too fast to brake in time. Within seconds, it plows into the line of waiting cars ahead, metal crunching under its unstoppable weight. A van tries to cross the railway just as the barriers come down, trapping it on the tracks. With nowhere to go, the driver can only wait until a speeding train slams into the rear of the vehicle. Smoke begins to rise from the upper floors of the building. Moments later, flames spread rapidly, devouring the structure as the fire intensifies with every passing second. A small car attempts to overtake on a narrow stretch of road. In an instant, it collides head-on with an approaching truck. Security footage shows an ordinary shift at the factory. Without warning, a fierce blaze erupts, consuming the building in a matter of moments. At a busy intersection, a bus approaches too fast to stop in time. It slams into a small car ahead, a moment of miscalculation with devastating results. A sudden stop on a busy road triggers a chain reaction. 3 cars are damaged in the crash, while the driver who caused it speeds away without looking back. On the roadside, a car burns fiercely, flames consuming its frame. The heat distorts the air as smoke rises into the cold sky, a haunting sight of destruction. A car speeds toward an intersection as another begins to turn. With the road coated in ice, the driver has no chance to stop, and the collision is sudden and severe.
From Victor Martins, is he going to take the lead from Alex Dunn? Oh!
During the race, a single mistake sets off a chain reaction. Cars spin out, collide, and pile up in a massive crash across the track. At the intersection, 2 cars enter from opposite sides. Neither yields, and they collide in a sudden, violent crash. At a busy intersection, 2 cars move toward the same green light. Neither slows down, and their paths meet in a sharp, sudden crash. Losing control at high speed, the car veers off the road. In the next instant, it slams into a tree, the force of the crash leaving no room for error. The small car loses grip on the icy surface, sliding sideways across the road. In an instant, it crashes into a truck turning onto the lane, the collision sudden and unavoidable. As the truck rumbles down the road, a large icicle breaks free from its roof. In an instant, it crashes onto a passing car, a chilling reminder of hidden winter dangers. At a smelting plant, a driver carefully dumps waste into the molten pool. Suddenly, the lava bubbles and bursts, splashing fiery liquid onto the vehicle. A firefighting helicopter hovers low over the lake to collect water. But in a sudden loss of control, it tilts and plunges straight into the water below. A bus fails to notice the car ahead and crashes straight into it. Trapped between two buses, the small vehicle is crushed in a frightening sandwich of metal and glass. A truck loaded with bricks was driving in the opposite lane when one flew off and smashed into a car's windshield. Luckily, the driver escaped with just a scare. The car glides over a patch of ice, its tires losing all grip. A moment later, it spins across the center line and collides head-on with an oncoming vehicle. A massive truck barrels down the road, unable to slow in time. It plows into a small car ahead, the difference in size making the collision devastating. A drunk driver weaves down the street in chaos. One by one, parked cars fall victim to his reckless path. A car moves out to overtake, trying to gain just a few seconds. But the risky maneuver ends in a head-on collision with an oncoming vehicle. The driver loses control and drifts onto the roadside. In seconds, the car skids sideways and flips over with a deafening crash. At a crowded intersection, two cars enter at the same moment. Neither slows down, and the inevitable collision follows with a sharp, echoing crash. A stolen car lost control and slammed into the fence, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The car misjudges the distance and lightly bumps into a motorcycle slowing ahead. Fortunately, the rider keeps his balance and no one is hurt. The truck driver fails to notice a small car trying to change lanes. In a terrifying instant, the vehicle is trapped and crushed between two massive trucks. Unbelievable! The paved road gave way right under a moving car, a terrifying moment caught on camera. On a quiet village road, a driver loses control. The car veers off course and slams straight into a utility pole.
I changed his mind! Oh no, 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 no! Oh my god, oh my god!
The helicopter begins to wobble mid-air, losing stability. Within seconds, it spirals downward and crashes hard into the ground. The driver loses control in a sudden turn. The vehicle veers off course and crashes straight into a pole with a violent jolt. Ignoring the red light, the driver speeds ahead, certain he'll make it through. A split second later, another car slams into his side. A brutal reminder that haste on the road can cost dearly. A driver records a truck moving slowly down the road. Its twisted frame and shattered panels reveal the aftermath of a serious crash. Two planes approach each other in the open sky, their paths fatally aligned. In a split second, they collide head-on, one spirals out of control and crashes in a fiery descent. While turning the corner, the driver fails to notice a low barrier ahead. The car hits it head-on, the sudden impact breaking the calm of the street. Two cars race toward each other on a snowy road, visibility fading in the winter haze. A moment later, they collide head-on, the force of impact scattering debris across the frozen ground. The truck's brakes fail, and it flies off the road, falling down the stairs. For a moment, the Kamaz hangs in the air, almost flipping over, before hitting the ground and continuing its crazy drive. The car driver fell asleep and drifted into the oncoming lane. The truck hit at full speed, leaving no chance of escape. At a busy intersection, a driver fails to brake in time and crashes into the car ahead. The impact flips the vehicle over, sending it rolling violently across the pavement. Sparks flicker quietly along the ceiling wires. Moments later, the electrical system bursts into flames, spreading fire across the ceiling panels. The car hits a deep pothole at full speed, one that acts like a ramp. In an instant, it launches into the air, flying several meters before crashing back down onto the road. A truck loaded with logs moves steadily down the road. Suddenly, another truck slams into its rear, the impact sending wood scattering across the highway. During takeoff, the plane struggles to gain control. Suddenly, it veers downward and crashes. A massive explosion follows, lighting up the runway. An old building stands in silence, its walls cracked and weary with time. Then it suddenly collapses, sending up a massive cloud of dust as terrified bystanders run for safety. A police car speeds through with its lights flashing. Suddenly, it skids on the slick road and crashes hard into the roadside fence. The camera captures a shocking sight, a bus engulfed in massive flames. Thick smoke billows upward as the fire consumes the vehicle within moments. The rocket lifts off, engines roaring with promise. But barely seconds later, it plunges back to the ground and explodes in a blinding blast, a stunning yet terrifying sight. Losing control, a Kamaz truck barrels forward uncontrollably. It plows into the cars ahead, triggering a massive and terrifying chain reaction crash. A passing van drives onto the railway crossing without noticing the approaching train. Within seconds, it's struck by the speeding carriage in a powerful, unstoppable collision. As the car speeds down the road, a sudden blast rips through the front. The bumper flies off completely, scattering debris across the pavement. A Formula One driver speeds into the corner, pushing the limits of control. Suddenly, the car spins out, crashes, and bursts into flames as marshals race toward the scene. At a busy intersection, two trucks crash into each other. One flips onto its side, spilling sand from its open bed across the road. The camera pans across a quiet horizon. In the distance, a massive fireball erupts, rising into the sky like a fiery mushroom cloud. At a busy intersection, a car rushes through and crashes into a passing van. The impact is so strong that the van flips over, landing on its side. A pedestrian crosses the road away from the crosswalk, unaware of the danger. Drivers slam on their brakes over the icy surface. But instead of stopping, the cars crash into each other in a desperate attempt to avoid him. A car gets cut off in traffic and swerves sharply to avoid a collision. Instead, it slams into a garage door, crashing straight inside. A large Kamaz truck stands by the roadside, smoke slowly rising from its hood. Bystanders pull out their phones, recording in disbelief as flames begin to spread. The driver loses control as the car skids across the wet road. In an instant, it slams into a traffic light, bringing the chaos to a halt. At a quiet tire shop, everything seems routine until a sudden explosion shatters the calm. In seconds, smoke and debris fill the air, turning an ordinary day into chaos. One reckless maneuver sets off disaster. After being cut off, the second driver loses control and crashes into a roadside fence. Trying to outrun the police, the driver slams into another vehicle. Within seconds, he jumps out and flees on foot, leaving chaos behind. Attempting to overtake on an icy road, the driver loses control as the tires skid sideways. Within moments, the car drifts into oncoming traffic, and disaster becomes inevitable. The small car loses control on the slippery road. It slides sideways and crashes into a parked vehicle with a dull, heavy thud. The car slips on the slick road and drifts across the center line. In the next instant, it collides head-on with an oncoming vehicle. Two heavy trucks collide head-on at high speed, the impact echoing across the road. Moments later, flames erupt from the Kamaz, the wreckage engulfed in fire. As one car cautiously enters the intersection, another speeds in from the right. The collision is sudden and brutal, the sound of impact echoing through the crossroads. Two cars enter the intersection from different directions. Neither yields, and their collision sends a sharp jolt through the crossing. The car skids uncontrollably on the icy road, its tires scraping for grip. A second later, it crashes into an oncoming vehicle, a split-second slip turning into disaster. A car started crashing into everything around it, and a nearby driver rushed over, only to discover, unbelievably, that a dog was behind the wheel trying to steal the car. The boat drifts peacefully across the water, its passengers relaxed and unaware. Suddenly, flames erupt on deck, and the crew scrambles desperately to put out the fire. The small car skids across the icy road, spinning out of control. Within moments, it slides into the opposite lane and crashes into an oncoming vehicle. Crazy crashes, epic saves. Don't blink. Like and subscribe for more jaw-dropping moments.